Now, psychic, I'm going to give you two definitions here. The first one is beyond natural or known physical processes, or apparently sensitive to forces beyond the physical world. Now, to me, those sound pretty similar, and so I actually prefer the word psychic. And there is a kind of bigger reason why. People, when they use the word intuition, are kind of mushing together some things that are much more effective when they're teased apart. And here's what I mean. You know, intuition isn't one thing. It's actually 6 things. So for every physical sense, we have a clair or clear sense, which is to say a psychic sense. And so I'm going to kind of do these in order of most common to least common. So the most common one is clairsentience, which is feeling. And there's really not a very big line between, you know, sort of emotional feeling and clairsentience, although emotions can definitely cloud your clear feeling. So that's something that people who are feelers need to watch out for. Then there is clairvoyance, which is seeing clearly. Okay, and that's the one that I do the most. I literally see pictures, and there are actually two kinds of clairvoyance. The first one is a kind of internal images of, you know, maybe they're symbolic or maybe they're real. So engineers tend to call this remote viewing. And to me, remote viewing is a very specific, I'm seeing something in another location. And I might also be getting sort of metaphorical information for somebody. So that's the internal clairvoyance, which you can do with your eyes closed or maybe with your eyes open. And then there's external. Sorry, go ahead.
Can I clarify for a second? So it's that you might be able to see literal images of something that's happening far away, or you might see metaphorical images that help you get a better understanding of what's happening for that person.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. So, and then there's external clairvoyance, which is seeing energy fields. So anything, you know, you can have to back up and say, you know, all energy is electromagnetic. And, you know, all atoms are actually electromagnetic, so all molecules are, so all cells are, so all multi-celled organisms, including humans, are actually electromagnetic creatures. And we have electromagnetic fields around all of us that people who have really good clairvoyance, external clairvoyance, can see. And they can see them shift and change literally moment to moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the external. And it will give you, you know, like people who do this a lot, they'll get maybe health information or maybe it's emotional information. It just depends on the person and what they're kind of attuned to. So let's see, the next most common thing is clairaudience, which is clear hearing, right? Clear hearing. And, you know, this is the thing that kind of scares people because, you know, there's the famous, like, oh, they're hearing voices. Well, if you know that the voice is not literally coming from, you know, a person who, I don't know, is not there or whatever. I mean, if you know, like, oh, I'm hearing this internally, then to me it's really okay, right? If you can distinguish, like, oh, this is a clear sense, then you're okay. And there are different ways to get that, too. Some people hear words or sentences, which is what I have. My husband actually has what we call the song spirit. And what happens for him is in the middle of something else, apropos of nothing that he is thinking of consciously, lyrics from a song that maybe he hasn't heard of or thought of in, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30 years will kind of enter his consciousness. And if he stops to think about it, there's usually a reason that happened. Like usually it's related to something else he was thinking about.
Well, that's fascinating because when I work with students, when I'm a professor, I teach students to feel into their bodies and to rely on images and sensations with clients, as well as to focus on what we call reverie, if songs come into their head or, you know, themes from a TV show. And I hadn't realized that this was something that was already spoken about as a way to access intuitive knowledge.
Absolutely.